I parked my beat-up Honda 3 blocks away and walked to the house in a dress I bought at Target for $19. The same house where I'd grown up feeling like a disappointment wrapped in hand-me-downs. My name is Audrey, and tonight was supposed to be my 32nd birthday celebration. But we all knew what it really was. Another opportunity for my family to remind me how spectacularly I'd failed at life. There she is. Mom's voice carried across the front yard as I approached. Our little birthday girl. The way she said little made my skin crawl. At 32, I wasn't little anything, but in this family, I'd always be the baby who couldn't get her act together. Tucker opened the door before I could knock. My older brother stood there in his pressed khakis and polo shirt, looking every inch the successful consultant he loved, reminding everyone he was. Audrey, good to see you actually showed up on time for once. Traffic wasn't bad, I said, stepping inside. Well, that's a first. Usually you're fashionably late because you're working on a project. He made air quotes around the last part. The living room buzzed with familiar faces. Denise sat on the couch, her real estate blazer perfectly pressed even on a Saturday evening. Dad occupied his usual spot in the recliner, newspaper in hand. Uncle Rocco dominated the center of the room, gesturing wildly as he told some story about his latest business venture. Audrey! Mom swept over and pulled me into a hug that felt more like a performance than affection. You look like you're trying. Thanks, Mom. I just worry about you, honey. 32 and still doing that computer thing from your apartment. When I was your age, I already had 3 children and a mortgage. Different times, I said. Denise looked up from her phone. Speaking of different times, did you see the Hendersons bought that colonial on Maple Street? $2.4 million. Cash offer. Wow, I said. Of course, you'd need actual savings to make an offer like that. Denise's smile could have cut glass. But I'm sure your freelance web design is keeping you busy. Tucker laughed. Remember when she thought she was going to be the next Steve Jobs? What was that startup called again? TechFlow, I said quietly. Right, TechFlow. Lasted what, 8 months before they fired you? 6, I corrected. Even better. And then you moved back in with Mom and Dad for 2 years. Tucker grabbed a beer from the cooler. Good thing they were patient with their little entrepreneur. Uncle Rocco joined the conversation. Nothing wrong with taking risks, but you gotta know when to fold. Some people are built for business, some aren't. Exactly, Mom said, which is why I keep telling Audrey she should find a nice man and settle down. Catherine found Tucker, and look how happy they are. Catherine. My former best friend who was now dating my brother. She sat curled up next to Tucker, her manicured hand resting on his knee. We'd been inseparable until high school, when she decided my family had more to offer than our friendship. Hi, Audrey, Catherine said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. You look comfortable. Thanks. I keep telling her she needs to invest in some professional clothes, Mom said. First impressions matter. Actually, Denise said, I might have some old blazers you could have, from when I was starting out in real estate, before I built my client base. The conversation continued around me like I was a problem to be solved rather than a person celebrating a birthday. Dad occasionally looked up from his newspaper with apologetic glances, but he never said anything. He never did. Dinner's ready, Mom announced. We gathered around the dining room table, The same table where I'd eaten countless meals while listening to my siblings' achievements and my own shortcomings discussed like weather patterns. Tucker carved the roast. "So, Audrey, still living in that studio apartment downtown?" "Yes." "Rent must be brutal. What are you paying? Like $1,500 for that shoebox?" "Something like that." "I don't know how you do it," Denise said. "I mean, I couldn't live somewhere without a proper closet." "Or parking." "I manage." "Well, at least you're independent."